Welcome to Audio Stories of the Paranormal. You can find us at www.theaudiostories.com. I'm J.B. Simeon. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you will enjoy this episode also. This experience comes to us from member Angie Weston of Issaquah, Washington. A few years ago, Angie purchased some items at an estate sale. This particular story was found among some books that were purchased. It is a confession that tells how two young boys learned to summon the dead, and quite appropriately it's called How to Summon the Dead. Before we get into the experience, though, I ask that if you enjoy the Audio Stories of the Paranormal podcast and share it with your family and friends, please show them how to stream it and download it if necessary. We definitely want to grow the community and improve the paranormal experiences available for all of us to share. Well, okay, let's learn something. The story begins. When I was 10, Paul Rudd was my best friend. Paul's mother disappeared in 1981. She was a single parent with a drug problem. It was not unusual for her to disappear for a few days and then turn up to sleep off her drug binge. When she was on a binge, most times she could be seen on the streets trading sex for money. This time, she'd been gone for more than 2 weeks. No one on the streets had seen her in a very long time. With the approval of social services, Paul came to temporarily live with us. We all assumed that his mother had abandoned him, or had died, or was killed. Besides sharing a room, Paul and I shared an obsessive interest in the supernatural. We read books and watched TV shows about the paranormal. In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy was our favorite program. We spent hours, especially before going to sleep, discussing our opinions about the Bermuda Triangle, UFOs, ghosts, magic, Bigfoot, life after death, and other paranormal mysteries. To us, everything was possible. We were at the age when magic was just as real as everyday life. The paranormal was our escape. One Saturday, we were in the main library in downtown Seattle at a friend's of the library book sale with my older sister. On the back shelf, we discovered the book that changed everything. The book was titled Instructions for Summoning the Dead. It was written in 1922 by Dr. Charles Peabody. Inside the book were instructions for summoning spirits and demons. So we each chipped in 50 cents and purchased a book. If she was dead, we thought we could use the book to contact Paul's mother. Over the next 2 weeks, using the rituals described in the book, we tried several times to summon spirits to help us. We were afraid to conjure demons, though. We failed to do anything except increase our skepticism about the existence of the spirit world. Then we found success with a technique called a spirit mirror. The ritual for the spirit mirror was simple. Place a full-length, self-supported mirror inside a small room or closet. No light can get into the room. It must be completely dark except for a small lit candle that is positioned behind and above your head, preferably on a shelf. Then you have to sit in a chair facing the mirror at arm's length. Only one person could be in the room at a time. While looking into the mirror, you must focus your full attention on the candle's flame. Once you are fully focused and relaxed in the mirror, you will see images of spirits. You can ask questions of the images, but never touch the mirror. If you do, the spirits can trap you on the other side. We set up the spirit chamber in our bedroom closet. From the beginning, we made contacts with the spirits. We soon discovered the spirits don't know anything about the future, but they could tell us limited things about the past and the present, which to them appeared to be the same thing. Also, we quickly found out that they lied all the time. Still, we were both thrilled to be immersed in the spirit world. We felt that we had total control. Paul was the first to use the chamber. Of course, his first questions were about his mother. He was told by one spirit that she was alive, but she was being held as a prisoner. He was told by another spirit that she was dead, and her body was left in a forest to be consumed by the wildlife. A third spirit, speaking in the voice of his mother, pretended to be her. He wanted to believe it, but it became apparent that it couldn't be her. The spirits didn't know anything about their life together. Just a voice. Also, we came to suspect that the spirits would tell us anything we wanted to hear because they were tricksters. Then Paul met Rantham. Rantham was a 12,000-year-old spirit. I also met Rantham. He was waiting for me in the mirror to speak when I entered the chamber after Paul. So I knew about him, but I still felt that he would manipulate us if we gave him the chance. He promised to tell Paul what happened to his mother. To gain Paul's confidence over the next week, Rantham told him several small things that proved to be correct. He established Paul's trust. Then he told Paul that he needed his help to cast a spell that would summon his mother. He explained how the spell would help. An image of her would appear in the mirror. Living or dead, Paul would be able to speak to her. Paul was convinced it would work. So I helped Paul gather the ingredients for the spell from the supermarket. Then under Rantham's instructions, we cast the spell. After the spell was cast, Paul entered the chamber. The spell worked. He spoke with his mother. She had been murdered and her body had been left on the shores of the Green River. The police had recovered her body, but they hadn't made the connection between the body they found and her as a missing person. This was before DNA testing was common. She had been a victim of Gary Ridgway, the Green River serial killer. She had already been buried as a Jane Doe months earlier. It was more than 2 decades before her body was exhumed and identified using DNA. While Paul was speaking with the image of his mother in the mirror, she told him that Rantham had been keeping her from appearing to him before the spell was cast. The spell had not summoned her. It had released Rantham to the other side of the mirror. She could speak to Paul because Rantham was gone. While Paul was in the closet speaking to his mother and learning all this information, I was waiting in the room outside. I watched as the rocking chair in the corner of our room rocked back and forth under its own power, and a shadow turned into a living being. Somehow I knew that this was Rantham, and I knew that the spell had not been for the purpose we thought. I felt our illusion of control immediately disappear, and a sense of dread wash over me. I knew everything had changed. I didn't know if it was for the better or the worse. Well, that completes this episode's experience. Thank you, Angie, for sharing that unusual experience with the community. As we discussed, since the diary only has this one story and none of the information can be confirmed, I agree with you. I think that it's more likely a fictional story. However, community members, this is Audio Stories of the Paranormal. It's up to you to decide what's true and what's fiction. If you have a comment on Angie's experience or you want to share a paranormal experience of your own, please email me at mystory@theaudiostories.com or go to the homepage at www.theaudiostories.com and post it in the contact form on the page. Before we end this episode, I'm inviting all listeners to visit the audiostories.com merchandise store. There's a link to the store on the homepage at our website, www.theaudiostories.com, and in the show notes of this episode. At the merch store, you will find high-quality Audio Stories merchandise. Your purchases will not only provide you with really cool stuff, it will provide us with a means to keep producing the Audio Stories of the Paranormal podcast each week. So please visit. You are our main source of support. That concludes this episode of Audio Stories of the Paranormal. Thank you again, Angie, for your story. And thank all of you for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed this experience and that you will join us for our next experience. Until then, please remember to be aware, be cautious, and take